Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. Um, Let me introduce Hex. She's not gonna like this. I won't be surprised if I get scratched. She doesn't like being held. She's the newest addition to the house, and I love her very much. Yep. See. Oh gosh. That's why I show up to work with scratches sometimes because of that little girl right there. I will just say that. So tonight I'm going to talk about someone that made a large impact on my life. And this kind of thing is what I hope as manager that I can do for someone else. That 20 years from now they can look back and say, "Hey, remember that guy from Jersey Mike's that we worked for? Do you remember what he told us? Do you remember what he taught us? Do you remember how he worked?" That's kind of what the impact I'm looking for as a manager. So my sister Penny, who is the closest in age to me as a sibling, she was 13 when I was born, and then adopted. She married a local guy. He was a builder. Um, and after my grandmother on my dad's side, Nana, went into nursing homes, we they ended up buying her house, which my dad had set aside a little bit of property on the back of the farm to build a house for. And growing up, Penny was the one that she took me to see the ET for the first time. I saw it twice in the theater, but that was the first time I went, and it was I was out hoeing beans in the back, part of the property, and she came out and says, "Hey, you want to go see a movie?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" I don't even remember how old I was at that time, but um, but my brother-in-law Bruce, um, that man, um, I mean, both Bruce and Penny kind of took me under their wing until they had kids of their own. And I don't want to say a surrogate son, but I kind of felt like one. They took me out for adventures. They took me up to Tip Up Town. They took me snowmobiling. I went ice fishing with them. Um, we did a lot of things together. I still remember going to uh, oh shoot, I don't even remember where it was. It was like a sand pit somewhere. Say hi, kitty. Meow. Hi. Hi, meow. Um, what you doing, Jinx? Huh? What you doing, Jinx? Yes, I know my kitties. I know every one of my kitties just by touch. It's kind of crazy because they're all black. Of course, Hex is a little easier because she has white on her. But all right, getting back to the story. But we went to Sandpit somewhere to do something, and I don't remember exactly what it was to this day. I think it was to get wood or something. And of course, the sand pits had these big pools. And now, guess what? All the guys went skinny dipping. That was quite an adventure. I'll leave it at that. Um, so, I got to know my brother-in-law pretty well. I would spend nights sometimes. My parents would go out dancing. My parents loved to dance. That's something very truthful about them is they did love dance. Um, and I never thought I could dance, but I've been proven wrong. I have learned. I've learned thanks to theater, but that's a story for another day as well. So there were nights I would spend the night with Penny and Bruce at their house. Bruce had a love for comedy. He's the one who introduced me to the Pink Panther movies. He introduced me to Young Frankenstein. So yeah, so I got to learn Peter Sellers and Mel Brooks from him, and we would be out there laughing our asses off, eating popcorn, and my sister would come out and be pissed off because she couldn't sleep. Yeah, because we were being too loud. So um, it was an experience. It was an experience. Well, years go by. I've worked a few jobs by now, and I've had my first year of college. And I come home, and he asks me, "Hey, would you like to come work for me?" Now he's a general contractor. He does additions, he does houses, he does everything. And I said, "Sure." So I know what he does. And in high school, I did architecture class. I actually did very well one year. Um, I was at the beginning of the CAD program. My school, thankfully, bought a computer and a plotter. Um, I was 15 grand at the time with the software included. Um, that was top of the top of the art at that time, and I learned how to do CAD drafting, and I ended up taking eighth place in state my senior year. I took first at regionals and took eighth in state. Should I have gone into that? Maybe. Should I have gone into theater? Maybe. Should I have done a lot of things? Yes. That's without a doubt. Um, I do enjoy where I'm at now, but that's you know that's going to be another story, obviously. Um, but anyway, getting back to the original. So I knew about the structure of buildings, about the structure of houses, about how to build things. Um, Sorry, looking back at the videos, I'm noticing I'm not watching or looking directly at the camera all the time. I'm starting to learn. Um, so that summer, I did everything from footings up to roofs. Second day on the job, I'm standing around doing nothing. And he pulls me aside. And it was just the two of us. So it wasn't like, he had to take me into a back room or anything to talk to me. He's like, "Look, you're getting paid by the hour. I'm getting paid by the job. There's always something that can be done, even if it's something as simple as cleaning the job site." Those words have been in the back of my brain ever since. And this was back in 1990. This is the message I want to get across to all of the people that work with me now, the young ones especially. Don't stand around talking, don't stand around socializing. If you're standing around, look at what needs to be done. Don't be waiting to be told what needs to be done. Show some ambition, show some uh you know some passion for what you're doing. Don't wait to be told. Just do it. I'm starting to see that a little bit more. There's a couple that have taken under my wing that I'm kind of trying to get to that level. They're getting there. They are getting there. It's been an improvement. There's a couple more that I need to probably do that with as well. Um, but Bruce really, really um, was a big influence on the way I am today and the way I work. I don't wait around to be told what to do. I just start doing things. Is it always the right thing to do? No. Sometimes I need to be, pushed another direction and be told, okay, you need to focus on this now. And I get that. My mind works a lot differently than what a lot of people are used to. Um, I have a checklist in my brain that when I walk into work, I want to get this done. Or this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. And sometimes I choose the wrong thing to work on first. And that's my fault. That's not fault of anyone else. It's just the way my brain is wired, the way I think about things. Uh, but, all right, so back to Bruce. So we worked together that summer. And it was an amazing, amazing journey. As I said, we did everything from footings to roofs. What was I at that time? 19? 71? 19 at that time. And he hired an additional hand to help us with a couple projects. And I remember one in particular, we were over in Buena Vista on the other side of the bridge, and we were doing a 36 square roof, and it was, I want to say, July. And so we would get up early. I mean, we're talking 5 o'clock in the morning, early. Which at that time, this young guy did not want to get up at that time in the morning. But we wanted to beat the heat. We didn't want to be on the roof when it got hot. So we would be on the job site by 6 a.m. and we would leave by 2, just so, the heat wouldn't get us. I still remember driving home one day. I think it was a Friday because we had the weekend off. We stopped at a party store. He picked up a 6 pack, and you know the term, roadies. We had roadies. I'm 19, mind you, but that was one of the days that I felt like, wow, I'm I'm doing something. I've kind of made it as a male person. I'm not gonna say females can't do this either, but it was just one of those days that things finally started to click. And after that, I I worked very hard for him. I really did. After that second day, when he kind of, I don't want to say handed me my ass, but he kind of did. But he opened my eyes to things. And that's why to this day, that's the way I work is I'm always looking for what can be done, what needs to be done. And I tend to go and do it myself. And that's part of my problem as a manager now is I tend to want to go and do it myself. I have a difficulty delegating. That's my opportunity now is to learn that aspect of things. So after that summer, um, Penny and Bruce. I mean, Bruce raised. This is kind of person Bruce was. He raised turkeys and pheasants and released them back into the wild. And yes, he did have a license for that. They built a house, or he built a house on Steel Road just north of town line. And it was beautiful property. He had a pond out back that was stocked with fish. He had the pens for the pheasants and the turkeys. The man loved hunting. He loved outdoor sports entirely. Um, he wanted to give back. He wanted to give back. That's what he kind of did. But in I want to say it was 94. I might be wrong on those dates. And Penny, don't yell at me if you see this and I got the wrong date. Um, she and Bruce decided to move out to Montana with their sons. And that pained me that they moved that far away. I don't know how my parents took it. I never asked them about that. But they moved out to Montana to a place called Coram, which is just, what, 30 minutes away from Glacier National Park. So, a beautiful area. And he continued the work that he loved doing. He came from a family of builders. His dad was the owner of a construction business. His brothers worked, and he worked for his dad as well until he struck out on his own. And I don't know the story of what happened there. Don't ask me what happened. But I know there was a rift somewhere. Um, I knew the entire family, but um, but he decided to strike out on his own, and he did very well at what he did. So let's fast forward to 2011, one of the worst days of my life. So 2011 comes along. My dad's in the hospital. My ex and I are in bed together. I had DirecTV or no, yeah, DirecTV at the time. And one of the things about DirecTV is you could hook your phone line into it. And yes, I still had a landline then. And you get caller ID that would pop up on your screen when you're watching TV. Well, at night, we would watch TV in bed set to a sleep timer so that it wasn't on all night, but we could fall asleep to watching something. Well, all of a sudden, I hear the phone ring, and up on the caller ID is my oldest sister's number. And I'm like, oh, good Lord, what happened? Because she never calls me. And dad's in the hospital. I'm thinking something happened with dad. So I run out into the living room and I pick up the phone as it's on the voice message thing and I take over. And then she tells me that my brother in law was in an avalanche and has died. That was one of the hardest blows I've ever had in my life, was to hear that. There are others. I've had one harder one, but that was really hard at that time. I sank down to the floor and cried. That man had taught me so much. He sculpted me into the way I am today. And I have so much thanks to give to him for that, and I can't wait to give that to him one day because I know we're going to meet again. He was snowmobiling with a lot of friends in an area in Wyoming or in Montana. I'm sorry, um, and I just watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind the other night, so Wyoming's still in my brain. Uh, but it was an area not known for avalanches. He was wearing avalanche gear. and he was with 11 others. It was a forested area, not known for avalanches, never had an avalanche before. But that day, for whatever reason, there was an avalanche. And there were three of them buried by the avalanche. Two of them were rescued. My brother in law was unfortunately not one that was. He was buried just a little bit too deep before they could get to him. My family has kind of accepted the fact that he passed doing something he loved doing. And I'm what's the word? I guess comforted by that. That you know that's the way he went out. That he was doing something he wanted to do when he died. But I miss sitting next to him and laughing, watching movies with him. I miss working next to him, building something, making something for someone else. Yes, I have driven by things that we worked on when I worked with him, and enjoying the fact of knowing that, yes, I helped to make that. I helped to do that. And he taught me how to do that. That right there is part of it. But the more important thing for me is the fact that he put that sense of urgency into me when I work to make sure things are getting done, to make sure that you are not just standing around doing nothing, that make sure that you are not wasting the company's money while you are working. Do I have my down days where I do that? Well, yeah, I'll be honest, I do. But those that have worked with me know that most of the time I'm always looking for what needs to be done. And I've been accused of being a micromanager. Um, Maybe I am, but it's because I have this checklist in my brain that, hey, this needs to be done, 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 this needs to be done. And so, yes, I am going to kind of pick things apart sometimes. It's just the way I was raised. I mean, my dad had a lot to do with my work ethic as well, but Bruce kicked it to a new level. And Bruce, I can't wait to see you again. I love you. Anyway, um, so here's the next thing. I was wondering why I wasn't getting any comments, and I found out when I post, I've been putting things up safe for kids. Well, guess what? When you do that, it turns off commenting. So no longer going to be doing safe for kids, even though I don't cuss, I don't do anything inappropriate on here, just so I can see comments. Uh, so for the first four, I'm not going to go back and change those settings. Just from here on out, please, if you watch this and you have comments for me, please leave them. I really would like to hear how I'm doing, what I can improve on, what I'm doing well, what I'm doing bad. Just let me know. And thanks for tuning in. And where's my mouse? There it is. Hi, mouse.